Today we're watching So What Happened to David?
I'm not sure if you guys remember, possibly the biggest news in music of this year, but David had some crazy allegations against him. And it feels like we just haven't heard anything from anyone about it at all. Like, is he a suspect? Did he get arrested? What's going on? Well, in case you forgot, let me briefly refresh your memory. Also, by the way, if there's any wind in the background, I don't know what the problem is, but it's just windier than I've ever heard in my life. I feel like I'm in a hurricane, which is unrealistic because I don't live near the ocean. But yeah, sorry if that's in the background. It's really annoying. Basically, David was a guy who was very popular for making songs like Romantic Homicide. This track blew up in July of 2022, and shortly after, he signed a record deal to Interscope. He continued releasing music, opened for SZA on his tour. He also got to do that track Feel It for Invincible, a song that fans absolutely loved. He had a Fortnite collab song called Locked and Loaded, and overall it seemed like he had a cool, likable vibe and personality, which is why everyone was
until we found out what the fuck he be doing behind the scenes. Weirdo!
Shocked when the news dropped that he was linked to a murder. When the news first came out, it was reported that there was a body in his car that had been in there for an extended period of time before being found. It was too badly decomposed to be identified. Apparently, the car had been at the impound lot for a few days. This was after the car had been abandoned a few days before that, without ever being reported missing. According to NBC, a spokesperson for David said he has been informed about what's happened, and although he's still out on tour, he's fully cooperating with the authorities. But he would have been touring for over a month before the body was discovered according to his tour dates, which is why, like I said, most people figured it couldn't have possibly been him. On top of that, the LAPD said it is one of several vehicles owned by the musician, with many different people using any of the vehicles at any given time. The police didn't arrest him or anything, and he just went on to perform like normal the same night, handing out Labubus to the crowd. But then things took a turn for the much worse when the body was identified.
And now some breaking news on a major story that we've been following. We have just learned the identity of a teen found dead inside of the trunk of a Tesla registered to the singer David. Investigators now say that the victim...
I know his heart dropped into his ass when this popped up on Twitter, when it popped up on Instagram, the Shade Room, everywhere. I know his heart fell into his butthole.
Celeste Rivas, reported as a runaway last year, had not been seen since.
It was the body of a young girl named Celeste, who would have just turned 15 years old. She went missing back in April of 2024 when she was 13, so she was missing for over a year. Of course, this in and of itself doesn't directly link her to David, but TMZ interviewed the girl's mom, who said that her daughter had a "sh" tattoo on her right index finger in red ink. Well, David also had the same tattoo on his right index finger. And this tattoo isn't unique to David. I mean, Rihanna, Lindsay Lohan, and Lily Allen also have it, but what makes things miles worse is that the mom claimed her daughter had a boyfriend named David. Right after this news came out, David canceled his show. TMZ confirmed that a house that David
What are the chances that David was on the Epstein files?
was living in was being searched by the LAPD. The house itself was being rented by his manager from Interscope, but there are tons of pictures with him in the house over the past year. Apparently, LAPD homicide detectives searched the house Wednesday and walked out with a computer and several evidence bags. The only other thing we know is that there was a photo of David taken just a brief walk from near where the victim originally lived. The person who posted the picture was alleging that David was paying people off, but there isn't any concrete proof on that. All we know for sure is that he was in the area. At the time I made my video covering this was all of the official information that we had from the police. However, internet detectives did find a weird amount of coincidences. For example, there were a bunch of people on his Discord server who were apparently aware of his connection to Celeste. There were also a bunch of alleged photos of them together, and even a stream clip of them together. There was a weird Reddit post from a guy who said, "A close friend's little sister from the LE ran away last year, and this is who she was with." This was posted, by the way, before all this came out, so it seemed almost too on the nose to not be true.
Too many coincidences. Her name is in song titles. Nah, gang. Nah, we on your ass.
Song that leaked that had her name as the title. There were weird old tweets that were brought into question, and there was a bunch more that I covered in detail in that video. But despite all of this being speculation, it still looked really bad for David. I mean, in my opinion, at the very least, it looked apparently clear that he was guilty of having a relationship with a 13-year-old girl. And
weirdo!
He was like 20 at the time or something like that, so disgusting. But was he responsible for her death? Well, let's see where the investigation is at today. The most recent news we have is that David is actually a suspect and is under investigation. His family was summoned to testify in front of a court, and this revealed that while he isn't an official suspect or hasn't been charged, they are looking into him. His family has been challenging the summon to court, saying that the court ordered Mr. Burke to travel across the country to appear before a California grand jury without ever allowing him to see the full documents that justified the extraordinary compulsion. They also live in Texas, which might be part of the reason they don't want to go. Regardless, the police and the courts have taken efforts to make sure that nothing about this case goes public, especially as they
You're a little zesty, ain't he? Look at this hand motion. I'm not saying being zesty is wrong, but being a PDF file while also, murdering someone. I'm just saying.
Investigate, which could make sense because of how high profile this case is. For example, the LA County Medical Examiner's Office was told not to reveal any details about Celeste's death to the public. And the medical examiners aren't happy about this either, saying security holds are virtually unheard of in other countries and has not been proven to improve outcomes in the legal system. Regardless of all this, David's family's appeal to challenge the subpoena was denied, so they will have to testify. And because of them challenging it, some people think that means they know a little bit about the situation. Lauren Conlin, a journalist for Los Angeles Magazine, has been following this case closely and believes that David's family testifying is crucial, and that the reason no one has been indicted or named as a suspect is because they are waiting to hear from his family first, which would imply David is a strong contender for a suspect.
So as of now, March 10th, they have not testified. That is just right now. That could change at any time. But previously, we were under the impression over here at Los Angeles Magazine that the grand jury would be convening through February, and by March, we might see an indictment. I believe that we have not seen one yet because the testimony of David's family is very, very important. And this is my opinion. I'm going to give you a couple reasons why I believe their testimony is dire. Number one, the transfer of property. David transferred some of his assets to his mother. Whose idea was this? Was it her idea? Was it his idea? How did he explain this? Did they email about this? Was there money exchanged? I want more details. Two, is there or was there a time when David possibly called his parents excessively, emailed them excessively? I'm thinking maybe if he got himself into trouble and he didn't know what to do, sometimes we call our parents. Well, I want to know. And number three, his family could establish a timeline. They maybe could tell us a time when David randomly or sporadically flew home to Texas out of the blue. What was he like? Did he seem upset? Was he injured? Did they look at his car? Did they look at his clothes? Did they notice anything funny? These are just three reasons that I believe their testimony is so important, but there are a lot more reasons other than what I just listed.
There was also a guy named Neil Langston, a social media influencer who's been seen with David often, who was arrested and bailed out of jail in January this year. But this didn't provide too much insight. According to IB Times, he made some weird posts on Instagram, and they said his tone appeared defiant as he dismissed any lingering legal jeopardy regarding his recent detention. Thankfully, I'm legally fine in every way, and boy do I got all my receipts for things, ha 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 ha. This suggests Neo has documented proof that could influence the murder investigation. I told so many people that I trust and I thought knew me as a person, my side of things, all for that to be thrown out the fucking window as soon as I got arrested, and they slapped that dickhead's name next to mine. The investigative grand jury, the people looking into the case right now, have had people like David's manager in and out of the building to testify, so that's also a little bit of an insight. Regardless though, we still don't know too much about this case. Investigators are keeping everything under wraps, and it's possible that they're maybe not trying to scare away suspects into running out of the country. On top of this, David hasn't been seen or said a peep since all of this came out, which also makes sense.
Whoa.
For this, David hasn't been seen or said a peep since all of this.
We see this in Neo. Why is your hand on this nigga hip, gang? I ain't gonna lie. I kicked it with my homies. Why's your hand next to your homie's ass or hips? I ain't gonna lie.
This came out, which also makes sense. All we really know is that investigators are looking into David as a potential suspect, and if his family does end up testifying soon, we could end up with an actual indictment and charges against David or whoever they think is guilty. Anyway, all we can really hope for is justice for Celeste, because this case is truly horrifying, and hopefully they're able to prosecute everyone involved with the brutal murder of a 14-year-old girl to the fullest extent of the law. So stick around and subscribe if you guys want to be kept up.
For sure. Thanks for keeping our ear to the streets. I actually completely forgot about this case. Like, I just didn't search up any more information on it. But I appreciate keeping our ears to the streets, Maddie. All right, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments below. If you fucked with David music, if you didn't, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Grit your teeth and chase your dreams.